You seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me!
In this video, we're going to look at the brand new player crisis, Behemoth Fury, that was introduced with Stellaris Biogenesis. With this crisis, you're going to grow your very own space kaiju and fight them in the galaxy, eventually becoming the king of beasts. I need to say a massive thank you to Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus for sponsoring this video. Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus brings lightning-fast tactical battles straight to your phone, and every move counts. You can command over 80 champions from 18 different factions. I'm all in on the Astra Militarum, who excel in overwhelming firepower, disciplined tactics, and sheer weight of numbers. They're an absolute blast to play. Whether you thrive in head-to-head PvP or prefer teaming up in a high-stakes guild raid, there's always a new challenge. Personally, I love clashing with other players. It's where the real strategies unfold. And now you can check out the latest faction to be added to Tacticus, the Custodes. These guys are absolute beasts, beloved by Henry Cavill himself. Tough melee tanks who are created to protect the God Emperor of mankind. Just a single Adeptus Custodes can take on an entire army. They are unbreakable, unyielding, unmatched. Download Tacticus now and use the code CUSTODES before June 7th to get your hands on 2,000 gold, 50 blackstone, and a requisition order absolutely for free. In order to go down the Behemoth player crisis, you have to do two things before the game has even started. Step 1, you must select one of the two biological ship sets. If you don't pick a biological ship set, you cannot take the Kaiju Crisis path. You must also make sure to not take any degree of pacifism or xenophilia. Pacifism and xenophilia both block the Ascension perk Behemoth Fury, and taking this Ascension perk is the first step on your journey to greatness. You'll also need to complete 4 traditions and have unlocked 3 other Ascension perks, so you can take the Crisis perk as your 4th pick. As soon as you do that, you'll get access to the Crisis tab in the Tradition window. This tab shows you which actions you need to take to gain Feral Insight. Feral Insight is a resource we need to accumulate in order to progress down this Crisis path. We can gain Feral Insight by building biological ships. This is a great and easy way that doesn't actually require any killing, just lots of food and a small amount of alloys in order to get it done. Also, by destroying biological ships, we get some Feral Insight too. Finding and killing any space fauna, growing behemoth eggs, birthing behemoths, or having behemoth rage all give us more Feral Insight. On top of that, the first time one of your behemoths dies, you'll get an additional 1500 Feral Insight. We start at level 1, which gives you the perk to allow the accumulation of Feral Insight. We'll also unlock the Behemoth Egg Megastructure, you'll want to build one of these right away. The Accelerated Field Trials ability, giving us more society research from our farmers or agri-drones. And Supersized Crops, giving us a plus 100,000 food storage capacity. That isn't enough though, you'll want to make sure you increase your capacity further by building more resource silos on your star bases. Each of these grant 5,000 capacity, or resource silos in your basic resource districts, again getting you another 5,000 capacity. This crisis is going to take hundreds and thousands of food resources, so you'll want to save up as much as you possibly can once you start going down it. On top of that, behemoths consume vast quantities of food, so having a surplus in storage before beginning is definitely something I would recommend. To build a behemoth egg, you'll need to grab a constructor and build this megastructure. It can be placed around any gas giant. Once you've grown your egg, you won't actually be able to hatch it until you get to stage 2 of this crisis. To do that, I'd recommend you build lots and lots of biological ships and kill any space fauna you can find that isn't already dead. Getting to level 2 allows us to hatch that egg, and alongside that we get some other bonuses as well. Better glandular stimulation, giving us 30% monthly growth progress and plus 50 fleet command limit empire-wide. Transversal inquiries, giving us 15% more research speed for society tech. And nutrient overload, granting us plus 3 food per 100 agri-drones. That does come at the cost of +1 mineral upkeep for each of these 100 agri drones or farmers. This is a very helpful bonus that will massively boost your food production. Don't forget you can also turn on farming subsidies to get a further +50% bonus to your agri drones or farmers, and I definitely recommend turning that on as well. Your initial behemoth is relatively small. This is our tiny little behemoth here running around. You'll notice they have a growth bar. In order to fill this growth bar up, you'll need to consume bioships, space fauna, or bombard planets to eat and kill their pops. Eating and killing their pops is probably one of the best ways to get this growth bar up if you can find some heavily populated worlds. You'll also notice that every now and then your behemoth will change its rage status, going from calm all the way up to enraged. You can also force this to happen by spending a large amount of food, 15,000 and 150 exotic gases. When a behemoth loses its cool, it will rage and head towards the nearest colony or behemoth egg and attempt to destroy that. This will last around 180 days, but while in combat or bombarding, a behemoth will not calm down, and if we manage to defeat a raging behemoth, it will then return under our control. And if you're enjoying this video, please enrage that like button. When they lose their cool, it can go pretty badly if you don't have some strong fleets nearby ready to deal with the monstrosity. Given it has high amounts of armor and hull, you'll definitely want something like lasers or plasma-based weaponry to calm this bad boy down. Don't really even bother with kinetics, it's not going to be very helpful. And as you can see, once we defeat it, it then comes back under our control. It's also managed to eat lots of our biological ships, thus fueling its growth. So triggering an enraged behavior when you've got enough ships to deal with the behemoth can be a good move for growing this thing up. As you unlock more feral insight, you'll then get to level 3. Level 3 increases the chitin of your behemoth, giving it plus 10% ship hull and 20% armor hardening. You'll also get faster growth cycles, massively reducing your ship's alloy cost by 95% and increasing your ship build speed by 15%. Last, in this level 3, we get an increase to biology research speed of 25%. In order to get to level 4, we will need to generate 18,000 feral insight and, more importantly, complete the first special project. This special project is the Brain Link Trials, where we're going to attempt to hook up our neurotechnology with this behemoth's nervous system and see if we can shove our minds in there. Don't worry, it's going to be fine. Doing that gives us access to the unbridled growth. Fully fed behemoths will pupate into a chrysalis to dramatically grow in both size and power. We'll also get 15% ship fire rate and get a special project to shape the genetic development of our behemoths. The Behemoth Mutation project is relatively straightforward, we just need to use some society research to complete this one. However, the Mind Meld requires that we grow a behemoth up to class 3. These space kaiju start at class 1, growing them once will bring them up to stage 2. This increases the number of weapons we have on the ship, as well as dramatically increasing its armor, hull points, and therefore overall firepower. To get to stage 3, we actually have to get 300 growth points, which is quite a lot, but luckily we can eat pops from other planets relatively quickly by dealing high devastation and eating them, and munching our way quite quickly up to 300 growth. Actually, if you eat 30,000 pops, that should pretty much be enough to get to this 300 growth. The level 3 beastie is really quite large. We've got even more weaponry and defenses, and much more hull and armor. We also now, at stage 3, unlock the ability to eat a planet. Eating a planet basically means we're going to go om nom nom and literally remove the entire planet from the universe. This completely gets rid of the colony and eats every single pop that is there. Don't forget, while in combat, your behemoth is actually still under your control. It will not get locked in and move around unless you tell it to move. So if you want it to attack something, make sure you continue ordering it to attack. When you've gotten to class 3, you will want to bring your behemoth all the way home so that you can finish the mind meld. Becoming one with the beast does a couple of things. First off, it's great, we feel great, And we get access to a level 4 behemoth. Yes, it gets even bigger and stronger. We also get access to the primal roar. We'll look at that in a moment. Not so great. We will be ever hungry. We get a situation. And last but not least, we will be able to lay eggs and perpetuate this new species. Oh, and the galactic community, yeah, they're going to declare war on us. They're just mean. They'll also all have minus 1,000 opinion of us. And we now get the hunger casus belli. So our stage 3 should become a stage 4. We also get access to the Behemoth transfer modifier, reducing our pop growth speed and resources from jobs and increasing our pop food upkeep and empire size effect by 25%. We do get plus 10% citizen pop happiness, and this does scale with how many pops we've transferred over. The growing pains situation is a little bit interesting. You have 3 different options for how you'll approach this. Either flight, allowing you to fly around a little bit faster with increased sublight speed, digestion, giving you more situation progress but reducing your sublight speed by a flat 30%, that's after all other modifiers, so you'll get 70% of your total speed, reducing ship fire rate but increasing your hull regen rate. This is the most effective option for progressing faster down the chain once you've already accumulated some growth factor. At the start, you basically have no growth factor, only 15%, and if you have an empire that's relatively normal size, at 1,000 size or higher, you'll get a massive minus 90% to this monthly change. So you probably want to choose flight to get in position and start eating planets to boost this growth factor. Boosting it is easily done by killing other behemoths, leviathans, or biological ships. Additionally, eating planets and all of the pops on those planets gives some big boosts to growth factor. The third option we can choose is fight. Doing this reduces our situation progress, but increases our ship fire rate and armor hardening. Only switch over to this if you're in a combat and you think you might be losing. Be very careful. If your class 4 behemoth dies at any time, your entire empire will be defeated and your run will be over. We also get to choose what type of eggs we want to produce with our behemoth. Either we can get eggs that grow very quickly, only needing 6 months to gestate, into a small size 32. We can get better hatchlings that take a whole year with 40,000 food needed to hatch the buggers, but these are much bigger and stronger. These can be good. Or you can strengthen the shells, giving you access to a class 1 behemoth on hatching. This costs even more food at 90,000, but a class 1 behemoth is very, very strong. Having a couple of those tagging around with your class 4 beastie should give you a significant edge against other empires and even possibly the Crisis. Selecting this lets you lay eggs around any gas giants. You'll then have a chrysalis that can hatch just like previously. At level 4, we also get the King of Monsters situation in our log. This basically tells us our objectives going forwards. First, we must find and kill any other class 4 behemoths in the galaxy, because of course, there can be only one. We must also complete the Growing Pains situation, which at the moment is over 3,461 months away. However, you will notice as you accumulate growth factor by eating planets and transferring pops from your capital with the transference drones. Just to briefly touch on how that works, basically every 6 months, 10% of the pops working this job will be killed and transferred into the consciousness of your behemoth. This does multiply the district's resource output, but you are going to lose quite a few pops. Transferring pops to the behemoth will boost the growth factor, so you don't necessarily have to go on the full aggressive straight away. Completing stage 1 of Growing Pains issues a challenge to the wider universe that you are ready for a higher form of combat. You won't be able to actually fight in this higher form of combat just yet. An Elder Voidspawn will arrive and it will try and chase you down and kill you. Whatever you do, run the hell away from it. Because at the moment we get the Indomitable Lord of Beasts. The mature Voidspawn has never been felled, and our best shot at stopping it is to target its prey rather than targeting it straight away. We have a massive minus 1954% damage to Elder Voidspawns, meaning we basically cannot hurt it. That only goes away once our behemoth has fully grown up and we completed the Growing Pain situation. We also get to pick a mutation at this time. Never forget, at this moment, speed is of the essence. We need to run faster than the Elder Voidworm, eating planets, eating bioships, eating its prey, but not allowing it to prey on us. So getting a jump organ, which is basically a jump drive, can be a very good idea. Alternatively, taking plus 300% sublight speed is also pretty good. However, this is an action that only lasts for 3 months at the cost of 2,000 food. Prioritizing your reflexes increases your evasion chance and tracking for 3 months. I honestly don't think this one's particularly good. Or you can become a hunter in the dark and gain 4 cloaking strength. Finishing stage 2 lets us select another mutation. In fact, every future stage will let us select one of these mutations to choose a specific composition for our behemoth. We can either get 250,000 more hull points, which is basically a 12.5% boost. We can get 125,000 more armor points and 25% armor hardening. This one I think is very, very useful. Or we can add a small number of shield points and 1% shield regen plus 25% shield hardening. Overall, getting the increased armor hit points and armor hardening I think increases your survivability best overall. Then we choose if we'd like some shield penetration at the cost of some exotic gases upkeep, some armor penetration at the cost of some volatile motes upkeep, or an increase to tracking and 25% point defense fire rate increase to deal with strikecraft and corvettes at the cost of 5 rare crystals each month. At the end of stage 4, we start getting some actual fun powers that we can activate. We can either take the gravity pulse, which will affect every single hostile military ship in a system. They will receive between 150 and 450 damage, and get a minus 90% to sublight speed and minus 50 evasion chance for 30 days. This allows you to hold them long enough to get into combat with them and hopefully kill them. We could get the destroy them from afar, granting you the energy spike action, which deals 12,000 damage to the largest hostile military ship in the system. Overall, I think this one is massively undertooled. It should be either a larger amount of damage in one hit or just do something slightly different. Because we could instead pick the energy burst, dealing 60% damage to every ship in the largest hostile military fleet in the system. This is fantastic. This is going to hit every single ship, dealing 60% of their hull points as damage, which will affect first shields then armor, but still, it's going to be a very strong effect, especially if we use it later on against the Elder Voidspawn. Next, we have to pick if we'd like some tissue regeneration for an increase to daily hull regen, if we want to get a flat 25% damage reduction to our behemoth, or alternatively, if we'd like to take a minus 50 damage reduction, so any weapon that deals less than 50 damage will simply not deal any damage to our ship, and get 15% armor and shield hardening. Personally, I think this could be the best option, because there are so many smaller weapons that will no longer have any effect on your kaiju. Finishing stage 6, we can either improve the fire rate and evasion chance, getting neural boosters. This is an action that will last for 30 days of every friendly biological ship in the system. We can instantly spawn a fleet that will die after just 6 months. Or we can get restorative pheromones, allowing us to repair 30% hull and armor points of every friendly bioship in a system at the cost of only 1,000 exotic gases. Stage 7 is the penultimate stage in this path. Stage 7 is the penultimate stage in the Growing Pains situation. Finishing this allows us to either enter Behemoth Frenzy for 60 days as a power, granting us increase to ship fire rate and sublight speed at the cost of some daily hull regen and daily armor regen, temper our anger to perpetually gain a boost to fire rate and sublight speed, which is lower than embracing the anger but constant at a much lower daily hull and armor regen debuff. Or finally, channel our fury to inspire those around us, letting us grant Behemoth Inspiration for 120 days to every friendly biological ship in the system, which gives 20% ship fire rate and 10% sublight speed. Finishing the last stage of the situation, first off, it removes the Indomitable Lord of Beasts modifier, so we can now actually deal damage to the goddamned Voidspawn, and grants us the Thermoclastic Raw Behemoth action, which deals devastating damage to all fleets and colonies in the system. Be careful with this one though, it deals damage to friends and foes alike. Whilst the voidspawn isn't dead, every other empire in the galaxy will get the objective to find and kill all of the Stage 4 behemoths. That includes yours. If they manage to kill your Stage 4 behemoth, the voidspawn will run away, and then that leaves the rest of the galaxy pretty safe and sound. So do be aware of this objective. We've done everything we need to do. It's now time to attack the enemy directly. We've jumped on top, and we're going to now use some of our powers. I'm going to use an energy burst to deal 60% damage to the strongest fleet, and a thermoclastic roar, which should deal massive damage to this void worm. Once you've killed the Elder Voidspawn, you'll get the Void Slayer modifier, giving you 10% ship fire rate and 15% damage reduction. And as long as there are no other Class 4 behemoths in the galaxy, you've now won the game. You are the apex life form in this universe, and possibly all of the other ones. With the merging complete, you can now linger in the galaxy or leave to an onward void. Both end the game, but if you want to, you could continue playing as another empire in this galaxy. If you choose to linger, your Class 4 behemoth will still run around and be hostile to every single empire, including the new one you've picked. That is, unless that empire used to be your subject. Depending on your difficulty settings, this might actually make the behemoth even stronger. So do be careful for that. Thanks again to Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus for sponsoring this video. You can enter the grim darkness of the far future by using the link down in the description below. If you enjoyed this video on the biological kaiju crisis path in Stellaris, but you'd like to know more about the biological ascension path and how to change and how to evolve, purify, or clone your species into glory, you'll want to click the video on screen now.